time to talk about health on your number one station for talk, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Lovely afternoon to you. How are you doing today? You are on the Health and Safety Cafe on your number one talk station, Nigeria Info FM. My name is Dr. Frederick Unmigbohai, and I always tell you good life, na sense. My sincere condolences to everyone that lost their loved ones at the Lekki building collapse. Just listening to Ireti's program every time, it just gives you the real Nigerian situation going on right now. It's so painful what people are going through. Now, today on the program, we're going to talk about something that is on your mind, and I know that you want to talk about it, and we're talking about emergency. When you hear the word emergency, what comes to your mind when you hear the word emergency? Fear, confusion, panic, or solution? I want to let you know that emergency occurs every day. In medicine, we undergo emergencies, road traffic accidents, fire, outbreak, building collapse, emergencies. Now, emergencies is here. It has happened. What do we do? What is our response? What is the way forward? Now, to talk about this topic with me in the studio today is a health and safety consultant, a certified master trainer. He was here a few weeks ago. And I don't want to waste much time. I have Mr. Waliu Adeniyi Adegoke with me in the studio. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing?
Very well.
You almost missed today.
Yeah, the traffic was intense. I won't lie to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank God you are here.
Yeah.
Now, today's topic is so passionate to me, and I also know to you with what you do, and a lot of Nigerians right now. I want to ask you one question. Where are we as a nation with regards to emergencies? Every day we hear fire outbreak. On Monday there was a building collapse. The other day again you hear road traffic accidents. Where are we? Are we even moving at all? Or we are just hoping on God?
Thank you for the question. That question is a relative question that requires answers from different angles.
Okay.
We have a lot of issues that can lead to emergency situation.
Okay.
Most times, let's talk about fire, for example.
Okay.
Like 4 years ago, Lagos State recorded that they lost 12.8 billion naira to fire accidents.
Yes.
They received around 980 calls, fire calls. That is the number of fire calls that they received.
Okay.
And last year, Lagos State declared that they lost 9 billion naira. So looking at it statistically, you're talking about 12.9 billion naira 4 years ago, now 9 billion naira. Someone might say that there is a reduction, but looking at it in terms of figure, we still have a long way to go. We might be moving, but it's still very slow. And like I used to say, everybody has a role to play. That's always my slogan.
Okay.
Let us look at most times we have fire. In the past few years, we have fire from market areas, market squares, where fire erupts. And when you're talking about emergency, you're not only talking. That's where people get it wrong. You're not talking about what to do when there's an outbreak.
Yes.
Fire emergency, as it is, starts from at the design stage of a project or at the design stage of building a particular piece, like a construction work. Let's look at the market, for example. Look at how the market is structured. Let's look at most markets. That's why if there's any single fire, most times the whole portion or a larger portion of the market square gets burnt down because there is no provision for emergency during the stage where they were allocating and when they were designing these market squares. So you will see situation where someone is selling a combustible material here, and beside him someone is selling a flammable material. So talking about emergencies during the stage of designing whatever you are designing, even in your home, for example, like we do say, your kitchen should have a special exit. You should have at least 2 exits in your kitchen. One for the entry. In case for emergency in your home, the best exit is the kitchen, because the kitchen is the most flammable, that contains the most flammable substances. So the kitchen should have an emergency exit. But do we have it in most buildings?
No.
Some now we have, but most times we don't have them. So it means that at the design stage, there is issue for emergency that need to be addressed. Then at the stage of, okay, in case we put all the controls in place and there is still fire outbreak or even gas release. In our homes, for example, sometimes we have gas leaks, gas leakages.
Yes.
We'll start smelling it inside. We'll start smelling inside the kitchen. And that is already an emergency case. It's not until there's a fire. At that point in time, what do you do? We've read a lot of articles on our WhatsApp phone. Okay, don't switch off the light about that time. Make sure that any flammable material is not around there. But do we actually put it in practice?
Okay, so sorry for cutting you, because we want to just try to touch so many areas because of time. I tell people, if it hasn't happened to you, you would not really understand the severity. Now, look at what happened on Monday. We have people that are in severe pain that you cannot just imagine or go through. And some people tell me that it doesn't concern me. It doesn't concern me. But when it does drive home, when it comes to you, then the reality of what we have on ground flashes before your eyes. Now, we know that there is a time to response, emergency response time. You spoke about the design stage, emergency preparedness. Are we ever prepared as a nation for emergency? Are we ever?
I think September, the Senate, they passed a bill for the new emergency number 112. And I don't know if it's operational now, but I think 112 is the bill has been passed for any emergency, FRSC, fire, medical emergency, and one other emergency situation like that. But the question now that you ask, are we ever prepared?
Yes.
I don't think so. That is just a simple answer. Though we have cases where there have been rescues, where people have been rescued for fire, where there is prompt response. But when you look at, taking Lagos State as an example, looking at what we face, for someone, let's say fire, for example, for the fire service to get there, the traffic that they go through, that is one. And people, when you see fire, you see people still standing around looking at, I think there was a fire accident, I think some days ago at Owode Oniri. You see people watching. What are you? Yes, there's a fire coming up, and you are standing there. You are watching. What are you looking at? Even that was said, everybody still have a role to play. Okay. But when it comes to the government as a whole, yes, I think we still have a long way to go. Like I said, from the designing stage,
yes,
every market square, because that is really is a focus point. And together with this, every market square, they need to be aligned. I've seen these fire hydrant pipes in some areas. I've seen it in some areas, but do they service them?
Okay, if you say from the design stage, if the law says after you build 10 stores, there should be a space. The people, the owners of those lands will tell you, I cannot leave that space. So everywhere is choked. With the case of the Lekki Ikoyi building collapse, we're told that some equipment could not even access
because of the tight space.
Now, you said people are looking, or when there's a fire outbreak, people stand and look. Is it that they are looking because they want to look, or they don't even know what to do? Let me drive this conversation. Let's say a road traffic accident happens right now. You see Nigerians with their phone, people with their phone are snapping. Some people don't even know what to do at that instance.
Sure.
I saw a video of someone that was brought out of the building collapse. This was what happened. Someone held the leg, another fellow held the leg, someone held the hand. So the head of that fellow that was brought out of the building was dangling. Which means even if that individual had a chance of survival, the means and the method of rescue would have even make that individual pass on. So how do we now see? Let me be frank. I don't want to talk about the government today. I just want to leave the government aside, because when you talk about the government, believe you me, anger, depression, pain sets in.
Anxiety,
everything sets in. Let's leave the government alone. If they want to work, let them work. If they don't want to work, let them sit down. But we are the people affected.
Exactly.
The highest we'll hear from them is accept our sincere condolences. Oh, we are pained. Oh, this one is pained. And it changes nothing. What can the people do?
You see, everything, even though we try to avoid, we try not to mention government. the people that have the authority to make final decisions still has to do with the government.
Okay.
What people can only do is to understand, because we don't want a case where there will be an incident of fire. We already have people trapped in there.
Yes.
We don't want it to escalate to people outside. So we are trying to prevent the escalation of this accident to other people that are outside. That's why we said, if there's a fire emergency, if you are not trained, if you are not in the position to handle, we have first aiders, we have fire respondents, we have, if it's a medical situation, we have people that can attend to medical situations. Let's give them the space to address it. Not everybody, because when everybody is there, when everybody is choked up there, it even limits the space for those that are skilled to carry out the job. It makes it difficult for them. And we've seen situations whereby there's a fire from the beginning, and at the end of the day, when it exploded, people who were around that area got trapped in the fire. So in the case of this collapse, this is a very severe case because it has already collapsed completely. Yes. People are already trapped in there. So the best thing that could happen is now humanitarian service. That's why you see people trying to, but people need to be organized, because when you don't know what's going to happen the next minute, because it's still an emergency case. There's what we call when it comes to fire. I keep going back to fire because we have series of fire accidents more in recent times. There's what we call primary explosion. You see, primary explosion is small compared to secondary explosion. If you remember this outside Nigeria, the Beirut explosion, you remember that at the initial stage there was fire, people were seeing the fire, but that was still primary. It was still bringing up, because there are other substances that you don't know that will get flamed with the fire, and will lead to, and that secondary explosion is always bigger than primary. So when you see a primary fire that is still at the primary stage, you don't need to stay around there. You need to stay far away from there to allow those that can do the job to come in and do the job.
Thank you very much. The secondary explosion is usually more than the primary.
multiple times more.
So right now I have a question for Lagos. You can call in right now. Now my question to you is, what has been your experience with emergencies responses in Nigeria as a whole? Have we been doing well? Or do you think something needs to be done? Who should wake up? Let me tell you why I'm saying this. When emergencies happen, you see the bodies, everybody come out, you start talking in front of the cameras. Oh, my men are working, my boys are working. And you see people complaining, the pace is slow. Even the chance of survival reduces as the day goes by. So if you tell me that you're looking for human life after 2 days, what are you looking for in a system like this? So 0700 993 993 993. For the male, while for the female, 01465 7190. What has been your experience with emergencies in Nigeria? Talk about fire emergencies, medical emergencies, construction building collapse emergencies, road traffic accident. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please turn down the volume of your radio and call back. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, Dr. Fred.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happiness from Ikorodu.
Okay, Happiness. Go ahead quickly.
Good life, na sense.
Yes, good life, na sense.
Just called to say hi. Wonderful show. Thank you.
Thank you for making us smile. Let's take this call. Do we have a call there? Okay, another call. Now, Mr. Waliu, let's now list the steps emergency response preparedness. Let's talk to those in power in whatever sector, public sector, private sector, the investments, the training, where you come in, what you do. Let's invest. No amount is too big for investment in emergency preparedness. You say, God forbid, are you telling me that I should invest for problem? Nobody is saying that. That's what they always say. Yes, because I watched a video of that fire outbreak in the supermarket at Abuja. When it started, it was little, very small.
Very small.
If they had invested in some basic stuffs, maybe 10 million, they wouldn't have lost such amount of goods. Okay, we have some calls here. Let's just take this. Hi, good afternoon. Sorry, please try the call back. Hi, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. They're not ready. Hi, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Your name, where are you calling from?
It's calling from Ikorodu.
Ikorodu?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead quickly.
I don't know. Yeah, I think we still have a long way to go
Okay.
in the area of disaster management in this country. And the way attitude of our people too is another very big problem. You see, when disaster happens, we've gotten to a point in this country where I think we have lost our humanity. The disaster will happen, and you see people who are even in a position to help. You see people who bring out their phone. I don't know where we got that attitude from. I'm in my late 40s now. When I was growing up in the 80s, when disaster happened, whether a car is burning, you see people. Some people will be fetching water, some people will be looking for leaves, some people looking for fire extinguisher. But then you see a life hanging in the balance, whether an accident victim, and you see people bring out their phones, and they will be filming,
recording. We have a long way to go.
Filming, recording, because you want to be the first person to post on social media
to report it.
I don't understand how we got to this point. It's pathetic.
Thank you so much for that.
Let us go into the issue of government.
Okay,
now,
government.
We will not leave this place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. One more call. Hi, good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name, where are you calling from?
Oh, how are you? My name is Sam.
Okay.
Okay, you are talking of preparedness for emergency. It's on both ways, both we as individuals and the authority itself. I once have an experience, and it was a very bad one. I have a cousin that I was referred from Bagada to Lut. I brought him to Lut in their own ambulance and brought him to Lut, and he was not allowed to come down from the ambulance because there is no bed. I'm rushing because of time now. Because there was no bed, the ambulance told me that they want to drop the patient down because there's another emergency in Bagada.
Waiting
To be taken. Who is to be prepared now? Is it the person who have a patient or the authority or the distance?
Thank you very much.
To cut the long story short,
yes.
I was made to pay.
Oh, so sorry, we lost that. So, Mr. While you quickly react to that, emergency preparedness, public, private, what can we do? Even in our homes, what can we do? Emergency preparedness.
Number one, I think I'm thinking too fast. Number one is the awareness. Because when they are not aware of this, awareness of the consequences of the negative of the negative effect
of not planning.
Of not planning, the cost effect. Because sometimes, what businessmen want to listen to is money. How will this lead to money? And they don't know that you don't only think about what brings in money. You should also think about what can take money out and what can retain money. So when you're talking about health and safety, we're talking about in this aspect, we're talking about the cost implication. When they are aware of these things, then you now give them the procedures, the proceedings, the establishing a system in place, a procedure for emergency, which will be understood by everyone in the organization, private sector, and in the public sector as a government. There need to be I used to say this, there need to be a different ministry for health and safety in Nigeria. I think we have Ministry of Health. I think it's there. For safety, in Ministry of Labor and Employment, that's where we have Department of Health and Safety. It is still not at the stage we are now.
Yes.
We need a separate ministry that will be in charge of safety, because when you have that separate ministry, it will go a long way in enlightening procedures and educating the government and also putting
people.
Procedures in place.
We're almost out of time. What would be your parting words to for Nigerians? We're almost out of time. Okay, yes. What would be your advice to people listening right now that feel that planning for emergencies is not important?
Emergency is very important, and it is as good as emergency is as important as what you do that requires emergency. Like if you are cooking in your house now, emergency is as important as the cooking you are cooking itself. If you are doing anything, if you are building a project, emergency is as important as the project you are building.
So when you are planning for the project, you should also plan for emergency.
Safety and emergency is as important as that thing that you're doing. So that is number one. And number two, people to try to educate themselves.
Now, with education, thank you for bringing this up. I was asking some people one day, can you conduct a CPR, first aid CPR? When you ask Nigerians, can you conduct CPR? Let's say somebody collapses on the way. What you see Nigerians do is, yeah. Nobody can even go beside that fellow and conduct
CPR.
a CPR. Don't you think it's high time? I don't know, maybe me, I might do that one day free training for first aid and CPR training for people. What do you think? Is this something that our people need to learn? It's something.
Yeah, is if you go to my YouTube channel,
Yes,
there is this training I attended, organized by Mr. Dari Joseph. He's a first aid responder. And I requested for the opportunity to take the videos. So I took the videos, and the whole videos is on my YouTube channel. So what we are talking in essence now is that we're talking about education. Some of we safety professionals are already making videos to enlighten people. But when you share it to them, tell them to attend webinars, they do not attend. They should try to take time to learn and relearn and understand what safety really means.
Try to learn, relearn, unlearn the bad habits, learn the new one, the current practices of what health and safety means. We cannot exhaust this conversation about health and safety. I want to appreciate you, Mr. Waliu.
Thank you.
So the time is always so tight. Thank you. And the phone lines are on fire. Zainab, thank you so much for helping us. And thank you for listening. I think we will keep having this. Maybe every month, one of the Fridays, keep talking about safety, preparation, planning. I always say good life. Now, sense to invest in safety, sense to know when to leave that environment if it's bad, sense not to compromise, sense not to give your brother a job if he's not qualified for it.
Exactly.
Yes, good life, now sense. And I know we all will be fine and safe. I will see you all next week. Continue to stay safe. You can hit me up on social media at FredOster_MD. Your mail, in case we want to reach you.
My email, waliu/hsc@cordalgroup.com.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Informative, exciting, and stimulating talk.
Do you think Nigerians should be protesting? Is there a need for protest?
99.3 Nigeria Info. Just number one for talk.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.